Hello. Welcome back, everybody. It's Thursday. I can't believe it's Thursday. This week is like blown by. But we have another guest today. And today I'm having on Nadia, who is one of my ambassadors for Barre and Pilates Collective, actually. Hi, speaking of the devil, here she is. We connected through this page and this platform. And oh, cool. Let's get her in. I'm really excited to have her on and chat today because we always have really good conversations, and I always feel really inspired after I talk to her. So,
hi. Oh wait, I can't hear you. Is that me?
I don't know.
Okay.
My Wi-Fi is kind of crappy, so it might be me.
Okay, I hear you now.
Okay, cool.
I won't move.
No, good.
Okay.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
Awesome.
For once in my life. Cool. I was just saying I'm really excited to have you on today because I feel like every time we talk, I'm always like, I get ideas or I'm so inspired. So,
yes, I love being surrounded with people like that because I feel like, especially during this time, you want to be inspired and have as much positivity around you as possible.
oh, yes. Oh, yes. So important. But yeah, I think, you've kind of caught some of the other lives. So you get a gist of what we're chatting about, but really just kind of want to hear like how you're handling all of this, what your mindset is like, how you're continuing to move forward, in your career, in your life, in your
Yeah.
mind.
So I got asked this question recently too. So before I did a lot of in-person training, but now with all the studios closed, it allowed me to focus more on my online coaching, which was always part of my business. But because I was so present with my clients in person, I felt like that was getting more attention. So now I feel like now this is allowing me to give more attention to the online platform that I've been wanting to develop a little further.
Yeah. And it's funny because I feel like I've heard that from so many people so far, like including myself, is that it's allowed us to work on things that we've kind of had on the back burner, we had
Yep.
ideas about, or like we've always wanted to do, right?
Yeah,
And so,
exactly.
yeah, it's been a little bit of a blessing, I think, for most of us.
Yeah. I saw a funny tweet from Kendra. I forget her name. It's an actress. She's like, now I cannot bullshit that I can't do anything if I didn't have the time. So like, it's always like if I had the time, but like now we've got a ton of time. So it's like
Yeah.
get all that stuff done.
Yeah, for sure. I was kind of talking to a friend the other day and I said, and I think we might have had this conversation too of like, I'm kind of used to having a flex schedule, right? And I'm used to keeping myself disciplined, right? To stick to a schedule or to at least be productive when I'm home, right? Like get work done, which I feel like might be a little bit different for someone who's usually in an office, right? So how have you found you've been able to kind of, start working on these projects and keep that routine a little bit?
So same as you, I'm used to working at home, but now I have my husband and son at home. So that's what switches it up a little bit. And so he's also working from home and he's more corporate. So he's that person that we were talking about, that 9 to 5 that's just kind of like, what do I do? So we're kind of balancing each other out. We are trying to keep our son entertained at the same time while trying to get stuff done. So every day is different. Like today is a busier day than yesterday was. So I think it was great that before this all happened that I had set the mindset that it's okay if I don't get everything done. And so because I already had that in place, I'm just kind of rolling with the punches. Like I might be up at 9 o'clock prepping a post for tomorrow, but that's what I got to do. So it's just going with the punches. You can't obsess about it because what is that going to do? It doesn't change the situation. So
For sure, for sure. That's such a good point. And Meg said that yesterday. She was like, I've had the thoughts of like, oh man, I can't afford this, or what am I going to
Yeah.
do? But like, I very quickly was like, I don't have time for this, you
Right.
know?
Right.
Yeah. I feel like we're in this situation now, and it's okay to be stressed and have anxiety. Like, that's totally normal and totally
Right.
natural. But exactly, then it's like very quickly you're just like, well, I don't really have time for
Yeah.
this.
Exactly. It encourages you to get like really creative too and resourceful, like, and also step out of your comfort zone, right? So like certain people you may have wanted to work with or collaborate with, or like an IG live, I probably would have never like said, oh yeah, now I'm like, sign me up. So I'm glad you were doing this, you know? And it's just like, you got to stay out there, you got to stay active and find that human interaction while staying safe and being at home. So I agree. I think a lot of good will come out of this. It's sad that it took this for it to happen, but I just think it's important to keep the positivity out of the circumstances as much as possible.
100%, 100%.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's definitely like I felt in the same boat of like I've been connecting with so many more people than I probably normally wouldn't have, and
Yep.
I think it's kind of bringing everyone together, the whole world right
Totally.
now. Like we're in this together, like everybody is dealing with something, whether
Right.
it be unemployment or, struggling with having the kids home when you normally don't. Like everyone,
Right.
it's different, but I feel like everyone's going through some type of struggle right now.
Agreed.
It gives
Agreed.
that sense of unity for sure.
Yes.
Um, so I know the answer to this question because we've talked about it before, but I would
Yeah.
love for you to chat a little bit more about it. Oh yeah, I agree. Hell yeah, So you have not always had this growth mindset, right? So
No.
can you tell us a little bit more about where that's come from, how that adjusted for you, what that process was like?
Yeah. So right now that's my main focus with my coaching, mindset, and movement. And I feel like it's totally aligned, and we've talked about this in depth. But I feel like a lot of people don't realize like you could go to the gym and burn all those calories and come back sweating, drenched. But if your mindset isn't in the right place, you're not completely healthy. And so I experienced that in my own self, and I found that, the people I was speaking with, it was just like the negativity. And I feel like that fostered negativity in me, talking about people and things like that. I was just like, So at one point in my life, I don't even know when it happened. It just didn't feel right. And I think it's because I was changing my energy. I was changing what I was focusing on, just being more grateful, showing more gratitude. And I think because of that, I started to recognize things around me that I wouldn't have recognized before if that attitude shift didn't happen. So again, I'm glad that happened before this because I don't think I would have had a very positive mindset going through what we're going through. But you just and sometimes things happen in life and it just gives you a reality check. Like, okay, you've got a lot to be grateful for. So I think gratitude is the biggest shift for me. And I think I started being diligent about keeping a gratitude journal and doing gratitude meditations. And I think through that, it just altered the way I look at a lot of stuff.
I love that. And
Yeah.
and it's I think that word, kind of gets this like oh, gratitude,
Right.
like, or like what?
I know.
But it's something so simple of like at the end of your day, like there has to be one thing that happened that day that you're thankful for, or that was, makes you feel like valuable, or like the day was a good day, no matter what happens. Because I really don't believe in like bad days, I think there's bad moments and days, but there's always one thing, at least one thing.
Oh my God, yeah. It was my birthday on the 23rd of March, and people are like, I'm so sorry. That's such a shitty birthday. And I was just, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know. Whatever. And I was like, actually, it was not that bad. Like the boys, they baked me a cake and, we played outside and we're not sick. So it was actually a pretty good birthday, and I feel like me maybe like 8 years ago would have been like, oh my God, I can't go out for my birthday. Like, like it's just like, whatever. Like
Yeah.
It's just such a huge shift. And I think when you look at other people, it complain about certain things, like it's just, I think if you're close to those people, I feel like I try to not make it my responsibility, but maybe set an example that, hey, but you had this, or, oh, but this happened, and try to give them a glimmer of, because sometimes that's what someone did with me. And then I started to say, well, she's right. And I think that can help encourage that change. So whether it's your students or your family or your friends, I think it's the only right thing to do, especially if they're open to it too.
Yeah, that's a really, really good point of kind of spread, like not only setting the example, but yeah, giving them little glimmers. Yeah, I've like feel like I've used that a lot with students where they might come in and say something, like I'm trying to think of like a good example. I don't know, like, oh, I'm really sore today, or
Yeah.
I'm not going to have the best work. Like, before we even start, they're already setting themselves up for failure. And I'll just say, hey, but you're here, right? That's the important, right? Like,
Exactly.
you're here and you made it, and like,
Right.
thing to be proud of, like whether you
Right.
have the workout or you don't have the best workout in your
Right.
mind.
Yep.
So,
I do the same thing. That's so funny that you say that, because they're already setting their mindset for the workout, that because I'm sore, I'm not going to give my all, or it just won't be a good workout. But if you put them back into that sense of gratitude or gratefulness, or however, I know that word is used over and over again, but it's true. They'll still give it their all, and I think they surprise themselves in terms of what they're able to accomplish versus the mindset they had coming in.
for sure, 100%. I got 17 on. Had the same.
Happy belated. Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Oh man, but yeah, mindset and that is so important, and
Yeah.
but it is crazy, like the power of it, like you were saying, like it kind of changed like things you didn't even see before, and things you
Right.
were on, and like that's wild to think about, that
Yeah.
there's a whole nother part of your life or our lives that
Yeah.
we can miss
Right.
if we're not open to it.
And it's just so, yeah. And like when you're still, like, there's certain people that may still be that way in your life, and you can't cut them out because they're your family or whatever. You just
Literally, my father, who I've been spending the past week with, and I'm
see. Yeah, like my dad. Okay, perfect example. So our boiler broke at the worst time ever. And so I was just like, me 5 years ago or 6 years ago or whatever would have been spiraling out, like, oh my God, we're not going to have. And so my dad's like, how much is it going to cost? Did you find, it's just like right to the negative. But then, like, we were quick on our feet, my husband and I, we figured it out, and it's resolved. And I feel like when you're calm in the moment and able to, like, there's no sense in tweaking out. Like, it just never, ever, ever amounts to any good.
Yep. It only makes the situation worse. Like,
Worse.
I don't know if I told you, I totaled my car recently.
Oh,
and
no.
it happened in January, but I like how much I didn't stress about it and how I handled it. Like, it was proof to me that I've come such a long way in the process.
Yeah.
And what I said to everyone who was like, "Oh my God, that sucks. What are you gonna do?"
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, it happened, and now I have to move forward and figure out how to deal with it. And that's it. Like, me stressing about it is not gonna help the situation and not gonna help me move forward.
Yeah. Someone asked, how did you change your mindset?
Ooh.
You want to take it, or you want me to, or both?
Yeah. You go first. So then
Okay. So I think that was hard, and it doesn't happen overnight. That's what I also tell my clients, and that does not happen overnight. That is a work in progress. I'm still working on it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's about perspective, like changing the perspective. I talk about this a lot, and looking at things differently through a different set of lenses. And I was able to do that by who I had influencing me in my life, right? So I started to spend time with people like you, and people like my good friend Dawn, like who's a Reiki practitioner, and this just changed how I looked at things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that really encouraged me to also self-educate and grow. And so I started to get more into meditation.